The Śūraṅgama Sutra, translated by the Buddhist Text Translation Society. Namo Fundamental Teacher Shakyamuni Buddha. Namo Fundamental Teacher Shakyamuni Buddha. Namo Fundamental Teacher Shakyamuni Buddha. Volume 4. Then Puna Maitreya Niputra arose from his seat in the midst of the great assembly, uncovered his right shoulder, knelt on his right knee, put his palms together respectfully, and said to the Buddha, "The most virtuous and awe-inspiring Bhagavan has, for the sake of beings, expounded the primary truth of the Tathagata with remarkable eloquence. Bhagavan often singles me out as the foremost among speakers of the Dharma. But now when I hear the Tathagata's wonderful, subtle expressions of the Dharma, I am like a deaf person who, at a distance of more than 100 paces, tries to hear a mosquito, which in fact cannot be seen, let alone heard. Although the Buddha's clear expressions have succeeded in dispelling our doubts, we still have not fathomed the ultimate meaning that could enable us to arise above all delusions. Those who are like Ananda, although enlightened, have not yet ended their outflows of their habits. Those of us present in the assembly who have reached the stage of no outflows, despite having ended our outflows, still wonder about the Dharma spoken by the Tathagata today. Bhagavan, if all the mundane sense organs, sense objects, skandhas, places and realms are the treasury of the Tathagata, why in that fundamental purity do the mountains, rivers, great earth, and all other conditioned phenomena suddenly arise, cyclically change and flow, end and then begin again? Moreover, the Tathagata said that the basic natures of earth, water, fire, and wind are perfectly fused, pervade the Dharma realm, and are tranquil and eternal. World-honored one, if the nature of earth is pervasive, how could it contain water? If the nature of water is pervasive, fire would not arise. Further, how do you explain that the natures of fire and water can each pervade empty space without displacing one another? Bhagavan, the nature of earth is solid. The nature of emptiness is vacuous. How can they both pervade the Dharma realm? I don't know what this doctrine is aiming at. I only hope the Tathagata will compassionately explain in order to clear the clouds of confusion that engulf all of us in this great assembly." After saying that, he made a full prostration and respectfully and expectantly awaited the Tathagata's unsurpassed compassionate instruction. The Bhagavan then told Purna and all the arhats in the assembly, who had ended their outflows and had reached the level beyond study, "Today the Tathagata will explain in depth the truest, most supreme meaning. May those of you in the assembly who are hearers or arhats of a fixed nature, who have not yet realized the two kinds of emptiness, and all who are dedicated to the superior vehicle, reach the tranquility of the one vehicle, the true aranya, the proper place of cultivation. Listen attentively, and I will explain it for you." Purna and the others listened quietly, respecting the Buddha's expression of Dharma. The Buddha said, "Purna, you have asked why, in fundamental purity, the mountains, the rivers, and the great earth suddenly arise. Have you not often heard the Tathagata expound upon the wonderful light of the enlightened nature and the bright wonder of fundamental enlightenment?" Purna said, "Yes, Bhagavan, I have often heard the Buddha expound upon that subject." The Buddha said, "You speak of understanding enlightenment. Does the nature understand, and is that called enlightenment? Or does enlightenment initially lack understanding, and so you speak of understanding enlightenment?" Purna said, "If a lack of understanding is called enlightenment, then there would be no understanding at all." The Buddha said, If there were no understanding at all, then there could be no understanding of enlightenment. If understanding is added, then that is not enlightenment. If understanding is not added, then there's no understanding. But a lack of understanding or ignorance is not the lucid, bright nature of enlightenment. It's redundant to speak. The nature of enlightenment certainly includes understanding. It's redundant to speak of understanding enlightenment. Enlightenment is not a kind of understanding. Understanding sets up an objective realm. Once that objective realm is set up, your false subjective state arises. Where there was neither sameness nor difference, suddenly difference appears. What differs from that difference becomes sameness. Once sameness and difference mutually arise, and due to them, what is neither the same nor different is created. This turmoil eventually brings about weariness. Prolonged weariness produces defilement. The combination of these, in a murky turbidity, creates afflictions with respect to wearisome defilements. The world comes about through this arising. The lack of any arising becomes emptiness. Emptiness is sameness. The world, difference. Those that have neither difference nor sameness become conditioned dharmas. The understanding added to enlightenment creates a light that stands in mutual opposition with the darkness of emptiness. As a result, wind wheels that support the world come into being. The tension between emptiness and that light creates movement. The false, persistent light congeals into a solidity that becomes metal. A lack of enlightenment nurtures that persistence and causes metal wheels to secure all lands. That tenacious, unenlightened state creates metal, while the fluctuations of light cause the wind to rise. The friction between wind and metal creates fire, which is mutable in nature. Metal produces moisture, which causes flame to rise from the fire. Thus, the wheel of water that encompasses all realms in the 10 directions comes about. Fire rises and water falls, and the combination becomes tenacious. What is wet becomes the oceans and seas. What is dry becomes the continents and islands. Because of this, fire often rises up in the oceans, and on the continents the streams and rivers ever flow. When the power of water is less than that of fire, high mountains result. That is why mountain rocks give off sparks when struck, and become liquid when melted. When the power of earth is less than that of water, the outcome is grasses and trees. That is why the vegetation in groves and marshes turns to ashes when burned, and oozes water when twisted. The interaction of that false dichotomy in turn creates these elements as seeds, and from these causes and conditions comes the continuity of the world. Moreover, Purna, the false understanding is none other than the mistake of adding understanding to enlightenment. After the falseness of the objective realm is established, the subjective understanding cannot transcend it. Due to that, hearing does not go beyond sound, and seeing does not surpass form. Forms, smells, tastes, objects of touch, and the others of the 6 falsenesses are realized. Because of them, there is a division into seeing, sensation, hearing, and knowing. Similar karma binds beings together. Union and separation bring about their transformations. The manifestation of light is caused by false view and ignorance. Competitive views generate hatred. Compatible views create love. The flow of love becomes a seed. The potential fetus is taken in, and conception occurs. When intercourse takes place, beings with similar karma are drawn in.